What's up, Star Wars Unlimited fans? Loopee here at Late Night Gaming, and I'm excited. I'm excited because Set 6 is around the corner, and we were able to get a little bit of advanced product here, so I'm going to do a pre-release guide, and I've done several of these in the past. You can look in our history for that. I love when I'm able to get this in time to help everybody at their pre-releases coming up. So what are we going to do today? The goal is to help you do well at pre-releases. And I've had a lot of people in the comments hit me up after the fact saying they watched the video and this helped. I've done very, very well in sealed pre-releases. Most recently, Set 5, I didn't play that many, but my 10-year-old son who uses this method was able to 3-0 a pre-release and beat actually 2 different members of our competitive team. So I know this works, and there's other great videos out there you can check out, but I think that actually for sealed, we want to have a sealed specific video. We'll be doing a limited video for like a limited PQ, probably with Micah overlay for draft and sealed later, but this is just sealed. So we'll learn what's new in Set 6, the mechanics very briefly. Rules for sealed deck building, which are important. You've seen these before, but that is actually your kind of deck building Bible. A little bit of advice on what leaders to build. Key cards in both removal and common and uncommon bombs. And then the fun part, we'll do a live deck build. And unlike a lot of places, I'm actually going to play my build live later on. So if you check us out on Late Night Live this Sunday, I'll be playing against a couple of teammates so you can see if my money is where my mouth is. Alright, so new mechanics in Set 6, Secret of Power. One is Plot, which is a very good mechanic. It's a little similar to Smuggle was in Set 2. And how Plot works is it only can be played when you deploy a leader, though there's one that in this set, Bail Organa, that can be played multiple times. And it plays the card from your resource row. You put the top card of your deck in where the resource was, just like you would have done with Smuggle. And there's some very good cards that are available for Plot. Some of them are here, right? But what does Plot do when it comes down to it? It provides action compression. On your leader flip turn, it basically plays a card that you didn't have to take an action to, so you're more likely to maintain initiative or get the jump on your opponents, which is a very important thing given the back and forth gameplay of Star Wars Unlimited. 2, it essentially serves as a card draw. So that card that you pulled out of your resource row doesn't take one for hand, so you have one extra card in your hand. And 3, it helps your flip turn impact. You see Sintakaz here. That card, I don't know if it will be legal by the end of the next set, just because of how strong it is with a 6 deployed leader being able to attack right away and maximize flip turn impact. We will see, but for now, it is there and available to all of us. The other new mechanic is Disclose. And basically how it works is when the trigger for Disclose happened, which is sometimes when defeated, sometimes on attack, sometimes when played. When that trigger happens, you can show a card from your hand to reveal and get a bonus effect. In general, if you're able to hit the Disclose, a card is pushed, where that it's a little bit overstated and has a little bit greater effect than what you can normally get for that resource cost. But if you don't hit it, it's a little bit underpowered, right? So you want to be able to hit the Disclose. And what I want to emphasize here is they're not all created equal. Okay, you see Warrior, Clarion, Ordo there. Great card, both in limited and constructed. In Set 6, it's a 3/3. And when you attack with it, if you can disclose a red, you don't do damage to your base. Okay, so that's a very easy to satisfy condition, as is Bardot and Ornithopter, Bogged Down in Procedure. They're all small disclose costs. And then look at the bottom here, where I'm talking about Faith in Your Friends and Duchess Investigators. I'd say in Constructed, Faith in Your Friends is a better card. In Sealed or Draft, probably not so much, because you can't deck build for it to where you have all kinds of cunning in your cards. The disclose cost there is 3 cunning and 2 heroic, and that can be a tall order in a deck that where you didn't get to pick what cards to put into there. Whereas you have Duchess Investigators and Constructed, it might not be a great card. In Limited, it's a relatively easy disclose cost, and it's always going to get a random card from the opponent's hand and provide a workable body. So pay attention to what the disclose cost is the rest of your pool. That's something that you can actually count after the fact. Don't lose of how much you have to actually put to get that bonus effect. Most of the cards where it has a disclose, if you hit the effect, it's a playable card in limited, I would say. All right, so this is the Bible to live by. One is build your card pool. What does that mean? We'll talk about the leaders. I am going to give you a leader tier list as to what I think as far as if you have a pool that requires certain colors, which ones to play. But you should always build your pool of cards. The leader is only one card of 30, one card of 31, I guess, that plays in your typical sealed deck. Don't force it. You're going to be better off with a good curve, some removal options, a flexible deck, and then a substandard leader than you are going to be with a bad deck and a great leader. Right? So, build your pool. Build to a curve. And the way I organize my sealed builds when I do it is a little bit different. I actually lay out the curve right away. You'll see other organizations, typically good players will lay out their curve after they sort by color, if they're sorting by color. In any case, you got to make sure that you build to your curve. I like to have, if possible, 8 good cards I could play on turn 1, and a good half my deck, maybe a little more than half my deck, that are 3 cost or less of units and playable units. And that's going to allow you to have some consistency here and always be able to attack it. You can kind of go and try to swing for the fences with hey, I just have a couple of low 2-drops, but I have all this power here. Most of the time, missing a turn, if that's what happens because you got a little greedy, is going to sink you. And you're never going to get to those big cards because you didn't have the progressive curve of 1-drops, 2-drops, 3-drops that are available. Some leaders can fix curve. There's a couple in this set that have good 1-cost abilities, and then you want to have the same curve, and you're actually looking then for a little bit even more lower cost cards. If you have a leader with a great ability that costs 1, like Deidre or Leia, you want to have more 1s in your deck, so that ideally you can do that there, and you need more 2s and 3s too, because you're always playing a little bit under curve. As a Vader 1 player from set 1, that's something that you need to learn. 3 is play to your bombs. Obviously, if you get like a Chase Legendary of the set, if you open a Thrawn or something that's just real strong, or a Nihilist, that's a bomb that you're going to be able to play. You want to be able to do that. I'm going to be having slides as to the common and uncommon bombs, because those you'll see. Once in a while you get lucky and you'll get a high-powered, big stat legendary, and then, play that too. But you want to play to the bombs, and mostly the ones that cost 7 or less, because you're not sure you're going to get up to 8 or 9 or 10 in sealed by any means. I mean, you really can't deck build with that much removal. 4, prioritize Ambush and Sentinel, keywords that are evergreen in Star Wars Unlimited, and this is to create 2-for-1s, right? When you attack with Ambush and your unit doesn't die, they're going to have to spend another card usually, or sacrifice a unit on the board to kill it, and then you've just created a 2-for-1. Sentinel can be the same thing. You normally are playing a Sentinel on a turn where it's strong enough to kill a couple things that attacks it, and they have to, unless they have a way to remove it or saboteur. So Ambush and Sentinel are great keywords, always will be for limited. If you see these cards, that is something that should be getting your decision making. All right, prioritize removal. It is scant. In sealed, you don't even have draft or the ability to draft the removal. So what colors have good removal can swing a game. My wife was making fun of me for playing the It's Worse card from set 5. And, it's a 7 cost, just kill a unit, which is objectively worse in every way than Rivals Fall, for 6. But, she asked why it's in there. It's like, well, I might need to kill something. And that's 100% true, that it can happen here. And I have a whole slide of the relevant removal, at lower comedy for this, and it's not a much. 6, stats matter, and this relates to play your bombs, but my little man, Jack Attack, the pre-release I was talking about, where he went undefeated through a bunch of great players. I mean, one of the cards he had was that Rathtar card, and then he had the Sun, from set 5. So, listen, I mean, Rathtar was a vanilla 8/5, I believe. But, when it's attacking for 10 each turn, that will end a sealed game in a hurry. So, stats absolutely can matter. All right, so talk a little bit about the day of the event. What do I bring? I bring a deck pod personally. I like playing out of deck pods. I will have 30 sleeves counted out in the color. I will actually bring an extra 12 sleeves just in case one gets scuffed up. Or sometimes you may be adding cards in a best of 3 format after the fact. And in particular, I think that there's some people that may try to deck you with like Sabe and some of the other cards that discard. So watch for that. If that happens and you're playing a best of 3, you can actually go to your entire pool to find more cards that did that. And I won a limited championship at Misty by doing that against a Thrawn Vigilance deck from set 1, where I actually did, pull in the other 12 cards I drafted. A great, great match. I always bring tokens to play. And then sugary snacks. Sugar helps you think. Decision fatigue. There's a KTOD video on exactly that if you want to check it out on the reasoning. But I always like to have snacks. You can't count on the store to have anything, that's good. All right. And this is how I lay out the cards. You'll see it in a moment. But I like to lay out by curve, neutrality, and aspect. I'll stick the leaders up in the top right corner. As I get cards that are bombs, and I don't necessarily do it on the cards that are under 6, but if I get a big card, I'll just kind of set them off to the side, or big legendary bombs. I had Crate Dragon here, so if I drew something like a Crate, which is kind of like maybe a Nihilus in this set, or a Thrawn, or a Lando, something that's just going to be a huge game swing, I'm going to make sure to note it, and you'll see me doing that when I'm kind of deciding what color to play. When I want you to sort and do this, regardless of how you start, just have a system and don't think too much as you go. I'm going to be talking about the cards as I open them when I do this, just to kind of give you thoughts on those particular cards. But if I'm actually playing the event, I try not to actually get tied to a color or particular card until after when they're all out. Because otherwise what will happen in Sealed is your early stuff is going to make more of a difference than your late stuff. And it shouldn't. When you open the card in the pack, shouldn't it make a difference? So try not to get tied to an idea based upon your first pack, because, it's liable to be wrong. And then I'll make stacks for upgrades, event, and removal events. Now, some units have removal on them. We'll talk about that. All right, so I did do the leader tier list. I do think it's useful. I do think that it's helpful for breaking ties. But the number one thing I have to say is build to your pool, not to a leader. Don't force a leader. All right, so what do I think about the leaders? I'm going to put Yularen on the top here, and I'm doing that because I think that he's been ignored by several of the other videos I've seen, or way, way too low. I've seen him in like the D category. He is a 5 deploy leader with 4 attack, 4/6, 10 stats. That's the equivalent of a 3/7. And he has a flexible action cheating ability, meaning what Yularen does is he actually attacks with 1 unit of a cost, and they can attack with any unit cost. Well, what does that do? That shortens games in Sealed. If you have initiative, you're going to be able to attack with 2 things before them, and it's just really good. So mark it when you're wrong after the set. Let's see if Yularen is actually was the strongest one, and not some of the other ones that are there. Solid playable leaders, Sly, and if you haven't tried her, please do. She's better than I thought she was after the fact, too. The attack ability, on-attack ability, is very similar to the Vader ones at 2 cost letter, and there's lots of exhausted units. She can actually take care of the space arena. Sly's better than you think. Jabba, Leia. Leia is a great unit. I know some very smart people have the ranked as the best leader. The only thing and she is. I mean, she can actually tap 1 to add an experience with some flexibility. What I don't like is that she gives you an incentive to play neutrals. So you got to have good neutrals in your pool, and a lot of times the neutrals aren't quite as good. Mon can be good because she opens up other colors of neutral officials and other heroic officials. So you might have a better card with Mon. And then Sabi, particularly if you're trying to deck somebody, because once she's out, she discards. She discards every time a unit hits. And a lot of times you're playing best of 1s with 30 cards. So if you get some other discard stuff, Sabi could be real mean. All right. If your pool demands it, this means that leaders that require a certain synergy, they're very, very good in spots. All right. Lama Say needs upgrades. Bail and Palpatine need plots. Padme needs reveal and discard, and Deidre needs undercurve. So I think that if you have an ability with a bunch of good ones to where you're using Deidre's ability to either draw a card or do 2 damage, she's very, very good. All right. Then I put other leaders in. I need these colors. This is a fine option. You know, they're good statted leaders. If that's what your best pool is, and that's the leader that fit, and none of the above ones work. And then I put 3 just don't. And I would actually put DJ in really just don't. You know, there's a world where you actually open the pool for Satine, maybe. You know, though the fact that she hits for 0 as your leader is a problem. And C-3PO is actually similar. And then DJ is a double yellow leader with 1 double yellow card in the set. And then locks out, essentially, heroic and villainy cards. That's probably not the way I would go. So, set 6, what are key removals for your pre-release? And I actually just put the slide up here. And I want to point out the top row here, because the top row is actually things that I actually might even play out of Aspect. Okay. If you're in Aspect, that's probably a card that should be in your deck. We have two blue cards. Retaliation, which is conditional vanquish, but it's the best we got. Knowledge and Defense, one of our spoilers. It's removal, but it draws a card, so if you're playing Control, that's good. Ferrix Upgrading, Rising. This one is not maybe in every deck, but if you're swarming to an arena, that can be strong for 4. It can hit leaders. Okay, then 2 important ones. Outer Rim Constable and Kadel. This is your upgrade removal in the set. It's in red. There are strategies, and there's some good upgrades here. You're going to want upgraded removal. Get used to this 3/1 Dork 2 cost Outer Rim Constable, because after Fang and Confiscate, Rotate, that's the best removal in Star Wars Unlimited. So that's a guy. A lot of times, if I'm drafting, which isn't this video, but I mean, I will take the upgrade removal in the set to make sure I'm the one that has it all. I would have, games or drafts where I would end with like 5 Fang Fighters because there isn't anything else in those packs. Kadel Connix is heroic, but she treats all non-unique upgrades, so that's actually a great counter to things like emergency powers. And then Let's Call It War is just a versatile red removal card. That's kind of the open fire of the set. So those cards are key removal. That's going to actually make me move towards that color fair a bit, and once in a while I might actually throw one of those in out of Aspect on a splash, particularly if I'm running Leia, right? If you can get Leia and you can get like the red upgrade removal guy in your deck and don't have otherwise red, well then you have something to disclose all the time. Alright, and then we have a fair amount of unit-based removal. I know Cad's a starter, but he can appear in the packs. Hyperspace Disaster is a great card for anti-space. I mean, it might play once in a while. I kept out any legendaries here. This is just commons and uncommons. I threw a couple rares in just to make the slide look pretty. Cyril Karn is a rare. That's a great card if you can get him. He really can do a lot of damage with that disclose and forcing them to discard. You got anti-space removal with Tempest Assault. Mirage is a rare but very strong. She does a thing that's a passive and then also does 3 damage to the base. The Incinerator tank is pretty good. Arrest is not anywhere near as strong in Limited as it can be in Constructed, but it's okay. No One Never Knew is a trick. Notice yellow is actually kind of out of this. There's one capture card in green and then the Ferrix Upgrading, so your removal colors are red and blue, which is probably intended. Beguile's actually a card I like a lot. That's a common. It gives you hand peek, and it lets you bounce something that's 6 or less, but a lot of times that can kill an upgrade. That's good, so it's the waylay of the set. Alright, so when we say bombs, there's lots of legendary bombs, there's lots of rare bombs. I didn't put them here because this is stuff that you might see commonly. Okay, in blue is actually looking pretty good. There's a lot of big 5, 6, 7s that are solid, I think. Like the Coronet, that's a heroic card, but giving every unit Restore 1 is significant in one of these kind of slugfest races. And like, say you get it behind actually that 6 drop Sentinel right after it, that's a 6/6. That's a lot for a ground deck to take care of, and you're probably going to win the race. Villain gets the Plot Sentinel, which I think is a good card at 6 if you have a 6 deploy leader. Nalase is actually a pretty strong card in the set, as is the Tank, the 7/3/6. I think that that's an annoying card to remove. Villain. As far as uncommons and commons go, it's kind of Deidre that I think that moves me. Hero has a bunch of stuff, though. Typho's a great card. Great Sentinel. The Plot Ambusher, the Dracelian Commandos, that's one to look for. I also think Crucible is really good and limited. You tend to get these wide boards with everybody kind of bashing each other up, and something that gives an experience to everything is good. And then you kind of have the Shadow Crawler, Ambusher, just a lot of stats, but stats can be enough. Some key cards here. Red tends to have a little bit lower cost curve, so you have some 3s and 4s, but like a 5/3 4-drop in space. I mean, if they don't have a space unit, that's going to be a huge problem. Kaz Zuda Ziono. That card hits like a truck. I mean, if you have a leader that can, stay at their deploy cost of 4 or 5, I mean, that Kaz can get out of control, and he's only uncommon. You might actually get a couple of him. So, I mean, if you have less resources than the other side, then, I mean, he can be a 4/6. Now, Ramp's a little bit less common in limited here, or is a lot less common in limited than it would be in constructed, but I like Kaz a lot in both formats. I think that the when defeated ready guy is actually kind of good. Notice that can hit your leader, so you can attack with the thing, and then, they defeat it. You can ready anything that costs 5 or less. Cinta we talked about, Republic War Droid, just a big overwhelm unit can be strong. Yellow's actually kind of hurting. Villain doesn't really have any bombs that are in the common or uncommon strategy. It has some that are legendary. Blue Ace is an interesting card. You got to be careful with the on attack. But, I mean, it certainly is a strong ambusher at 4, overstatted. Hunter is actually a strong card, I think. 6-drop, 7/6, and he kind of enables positive trades if you want to, if that's what you need to do at that point in the game. And then I threw Silatro, or Sicantro. Sicatro is his name. But that card's just really good with making them have to pay or you draw a card that's strong. And Vel, don't forget she's 5 and she can hit for 6. And then has a passive that actually hits for everything. So that's a card that can swing a limited match. Alright, so let's get to the fun part. We're going to crack open this pre-release kit from Secrets of Power and let's see what we build. Alright, so here we are with our pre-release kit. We're going to open it up, see what we get. You will get 6 packs. And you will get 2 leaders along, some tokens, some quick start rules, this little deck box with the tokens in it. I always keep these dividers, by the way. Those are great for when you're organizing your cards, and also they can serve as the sideboard divider for a deck box or deck pod very easily. There's Padme and Chancellor Pelp. Both are serviceable leaders, which I think is what's intended from the 2 pre-release kit. We're going to just organize. I'm going to talk about the cards as I open them, just to give kind of ideas of what we think is good. I wouldn't do that in the pre-release. I'd just try to sort without thinking about it. We got Deidre. Deidre, I think, is a good leader if you can reasonably play under curve. All right. Base is here. We go neutrals. This is an upgrade. Nimble Prowess is a great card. It has a tap down effect. There, that is a normal event. Death Trooper is a card that I consider removal and very good to play. Duchess's Investigators is a very good 5 cost for a yellow deck, I think. We got a heroic 4-drop that captures 2 or less. He kind of probably plays in there. We got one of the red bombs. That's a finisher. That's good. The Warwalker 7/6 stats. This guy probably kind of plays in just to fill out your decks in a lot of hero ones, but it's very situational. Regulations Bureaucrat is not particularly great. This upgrade is an upgrade. Other than Lamasu, I don't think I'd be running that. Convene the Senate is a gas card looking for officials. That's not going to run. The Wrong Ride, maybe. Corporate Warmongering is a very slow card. We got an Ebonhawk is the rare out of the first pack. Ebonhawk is okay. It's probably a little better in limited because you conceivably are splashing just because, you need the cards. The 2/3 grit spaceship is nothing to write home about as the foil spot. All right, let's look at the second pack. Sly, we're happy about that. Sly is a very good leader, and I've been having fun with her. If you want to have fun, do a Sly Spy Swarm deck, and check us out on Discord, on the Late Nights Discord, to do that. Base. 4-drop Sentinel is solid. We like that. This is the Restore ship, if you're playing an official deck. Maybe in a Mon Mothma deck that might run. Alderanian Envoys is a unit that has a ton of Restore. The Trade Federation Delegates is an okay card. The 5-drop here, though, the FN Trooper Corps, this is a solidly playable card that would be in basically every villain deck, I think. It can give another experience to a unit. Just provides a lot of value for 5. If your leader's deploying there, say we're running Sly, we can give her an experience all right away, and now she's a 4/7. Now she's got the famed Boba Fett stat line. So I like FM Trooper Corps as a card. Another of that kind of bad ship. Rebellious Functionary. Don't love playing 1-drop 2/2s. If it was villainy, it might make us want to do Deidre a little more, but it's not. All right, Accelerator Plans, Upgrade. Another one of those guys. We're kind of light on 2-drops right now. That's the thing that lets you play plots, which you don't love if you have to put that in your deck. The Tailender Shuttle is maybe okay if you're playing Yularen, which we don't have. Special Modifications. This is an upgrade that goes only on vehicles, so it's kind of a conditional upgrade. Charged with Treason is removal. Charged with Treason is removal if you can disclose red. So that's good. If you're playing red, they'll go good in Deidre. Unruly Astromech, when defeated, exhausted unit, 3/2 for 3. Again, nothing to write home about. Pack number 3. Play the third time's a charm on a showcase. No, not only do we get a showcase, we get a Rinda, who I'm unlikely to use, having opened Deidre. Cool looking base. I love the art of some of the bases. This is the base that Andor and Kinoloy escaped from, I believe. Theed Security's okay card. It's like upgrade hate. Populous Champion. 3/5 vanilla, but 3/5 vanilla is good. So that's something that if you're running blue hero, you're running. Another of the clandestine operations in hyperspace. With Thunderous Applause is kind of like a double buff green event. A little bit better in limited than it is in constructed, but not great. Ambition's Reward is a decent upgrade, but we're not seeing Alamasu yet. The Skyhopper Canyon Runner is a good 1-drop ground unit. It's a 1/4. The Laborer Droid is not good. He's 2-drop, and he has 1 Restore. But, I mean, he can be played. We have Pursue the Lead. Choose a player. Discard a card for their hand. If they cost 3 or less, create Spy Token. That's actually not a terrible card to play later in a game. Ooh, now we got some power coming up here. We'll move past that 2-drop nothing, but we have Crucible, which can be a very solid card in limited, and Nalase hitting us at 5. So things improve there. We got actually a pretty good rare out of this one too. We got Nuke Gunray. Nuke Gunray gives Sentinel, and he has Grit. Goes right in here with the villainy ones, and Anakin's another good one, particularly if you're running Padme. Now, if you're running Padme and you have a bunch of Anakins, that can be a very strong thing. He's a plot unit that can attack for 5 if you control Padme Amidala. I don't think you really are excited about him if you have any other leader. All right, we got Mon. That opens up some possibilities for us with officials. We can look at that. Armor of Fortune, another upgrade. We are pretty upgrade heavy, this pool. Naboo's Security Force is just fine at 6. Alright, so the Mon pack has officials to go with her. Chandrillan Sponsors, powerful card in limited. And Beloved Orator is just fine. A 2/3 that creates a spy token is fine. That's a good playable card. We got this, when played, control a damage unit, deal 2 damage to an enemy unit, 4/3, heroic, arc 170. That'll play in any heroic deck, or most heroic decks anyway. Yet another clandestine connections. We must have a clandestine kind of pre-release today. Alright, the 5/4 Coruscant, please, is good stats. So we like 5/4s. Viper Probe Droid. This card is just great and has been since set 1, and I hope you're watching Just Check. The win has become now a trick. It's okay. Zam is okay only unless you're running an art grade. We got C3PO that return to this unit hands, give a unit +2/+2 for this phase. That's a pretty good card. C3PO can play. The bouncy is good. Parched Grass is a great card in constructed. It's unlikely that we'll have the officials to build around them in here, but you never know in any given pool. Viper Pro Dread's the wrong spot. Furtive Handmaidens, that's a Padme Sabe card, but that makes this a good synergy with Padme Amidala. Alright, pack 4. Alright, we did get Leia. Given the rest of my pre-release video, I imagine it is going to be a Leia deck here because, you know, I didn't have her as the top ranked, but so be it. I did have her ranked as a fully playable leader, and we do have some cards that are actually pretty good for Leia already that I see. The GNK Power Droid, I mean, this can be good. I mean, it's not good if, like, one of those 3/3s gets lined up, but if you actually get off a couple of attacks with this, it's cheating. You say you get out a 4-drop on turn 2, that's strong. And they kind of got to kill it just so they can, you know, bolt the bird, get off the removal. Lost Jedi is a grit unit that really only makes sense with Lamasu. Theed Security is not great. Conditional there. Political Bully on an official deck can be pretty good. That's a villain card, though. Alright, Republic. Starfighter is okay. Trade Federation Delegates, the second of those we got. Ando Commission is a Sentinel that hits for 4. Warrior of Clan Ordo is a great card that is a premium to deploy. We got Hunter here. Hunter is strong. Hunter is a 6-drop there. Here, we'll actually put him up here for bombs. Junior Senator's a good yellow. Diplomatic Immunity. Ooh. So we got some things coming up here that just move things. Diplomatic Immunity is an upgrade that does that. We got Masamita, who's a very good card if you have official density. In sealed, you're not necessarily having the things. We did get Captain Rex, which is an extremely strong rare. He is a 7/7 for 6. When played and it competes attack, gives this unit and an enemy unit Sentinel. So you can put a 7/7 into the way on 6 deploy and have it be a Sentinel that can wipe a board. So Captain Rex is extremely strong, and that is one we'll consider here moving for bombs. And then we did actually, that was a great pack. We got this Dogmatic Shock Squad too for a 6 deploy Sentinel in Villain. Alright, we need another pack like that, and then we'll hopefully win this thing. I'll be playing this deck on Sunday live against other teammates from a team. We're all great players, so we'll see if I can actually get one by on them. Alright, the Slimer. I have my leaders splayed out a little bit more here. I'd usually have them stacked up, but I want to see kind of what we have available here. That will be our leader pool. We have Sly available to us, the 2 pre-release. We have Deidre available to us. We have Mon Mothma, Leia. So we're really happy with that for Leia pool, for leader pool. We'll set those across so we can actually put some of the heroic bombs where they're supposed to go up here. Okay, we'll put that guy there. All right, look at the base. The Republic City base. Such good art and great in hyperspace. All right, another Populous Champion, 3/5 for 3. That is good stats. With Thunderous Applause is meh, but Knowledge and Defense is not. Knowledge Defense is removal that can travel card. That's a good card right there. Sith Assassin. Rebel Pathfinder's a reprint. Sith Assassin is a very good 2-drop. I shouldn't move so quickly for it. As is Rebel Pathfinder. The Saboteur can be there. A Hunting Assassin Droid in Deidre is like an S-tier card.
It's hitting for 5. It's a 5/4 essentially if you can damage units, which you'd think Deidre would be able to do. Sneaking Suspicion, another FN Trooper Core. That's good news. This Outer Room Coalition is maybe better than people think. I mean, it's a 6/5 and a when defeated can do it. We did get a legendary. We got Obi. Obi-Wan Kenobi. He pulls the cards from the other deck. I'm excited about that. Obi's one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. We got the legendary here, and he's a playable 4-drop. You never know what you're going to get. You know, it could be a boat, could be anything. Muckraker Crackdrove is a very good 3-drop for there. We got Creditor's Claim is a great. This is kind of actually even going to be in removal there because it gives a when defeated there. BMO is a 1-drop heroic and then another populist champion. Okay, so what do we do now that we sorted the cards? I mean, I kind of just in talking it through gave you some ideas here, but we'll first look to bombs and things that actually make a difference I listed there. But Nalase is important to me. Okay, she actually can get going there. This Alderaanian Envoys is important at Restore. These green cards are both good with when played and when defeated. And then we have Rex and Hunter, both very strong up there in Heroic. We have Dogmatic here, a couple of the FN core that are relevant. And we actually have pretty good cards for a Deidre deck as we get into the later turns, right? So we can look at some of the things. And that's actually probably the next thing that I do. There's actually, well, before that, we'll review removal. We've got very little. We got Creditor's Claim, Knowledge and Defense, and Charged with Treason. Creditor's Claim, there's a world that, you know, you can actually kind of run that in a Heroic deck. It's there. As far as the general events, you know, nothing overly exciting here. And then, I mean, we got a lot of upgrades. We've got upgrade density here, but, I mean, Diplomatic Immunity is hard to get off. I mean, but it's still a 2/2 for 2. Clandestine Connections, the problem is it's a 1/1 for 2. Armor of Fortune is a good plot. That probably runs if you're running blue. Special Modifications, really only for green transfers. Nibble Prowess would run in any green deck or any blue deck. Alright, so then we kind of look at the curve. And remember what I said. I mean, I think actually, just looking through this, the second best deck that I would have available to me is likely Deidre. Deidre running red and probably blue. Because, I mean, we have a Clan Ordo guy. We have Lost Jedi. But what don't we have? 1-drops. And remember what I said about Deidre is you want to play under curve. And we really don't have like a whole ton of the 2-drops either. Right? What we'd like to see if we were running a leader like Deidre would be a bunch of 1s that are playable, you know, at least decent. A 1-drop's never great. And then, you know, a whole bunch of 2s. You might overdo the 2s because on the second turn of the game you're trying to do 2-1. So that's there. So I think that's the second best deck. And the reason why I say that is I think the first best deck is we have some great neutrals here for Leia. And I mean, we got some bombs here. I mean, Captain Rex being in our pool is a rare, is something that moves it. Obi is a thing. I mean, he's not going to win the game by itself, but I mean, Obi's pretty good, and you got Nalase. So let's actually kind of look at what blue-yellow hero would be. And then whether we can splash some stuff too, because Leia likes to have some splash disclose. So we'll keep some of those neutral events and upgrades there, you know, if it doesn't share an aspect. So we'll get out the yellow and the blue for now. 2-drops, this is the other thing that I know. We have these regulation bureaucrats. Those aren't great, but we do have a fair number of yellow low-cost cards to do. Just kind of looking through it. Yeah. Ebonhawk probably will end up playing. Alright, so we're just going to go down to the yellow and blue cards right now. See how our Leia deck would look. So get out the reds, get out the greens. Guess we keep Ando Commission there for now. The 4-cost Sentinel is good. Alright, I'm thinking about some splash cards as I pick these up. Yeah, Crucible certainly is something that might splash. Alright, so we'll do that. Let's lay out the rest of the curve. We have to get rid of the non. Probably play both of those heroics. One of the other things that I noted I didn't say it when I went through, but the fact that we have 3 of the populist champions makes a difference. I mean, just being able to get a nice unit there on 3. Alright, we'll put those by the greens, yellows. That'll play, that'll play. Chandrillin, the Thief Security most certainly won't. Alright, Furtive Handmaiden. I'm not sure about the BMO card, but we'll let him in there for now. Okay, so I think we have a pretty good density here with these. Removal-wise, we're definitely going to run Knowledge and Defense. She can't disclose. She can't disclose villainy. If Leia could disclose villainy, that would change my mind. Charged by treason requires red, so that's not going to be. So we're kind of light on removal. We have some unit-based removal here. And then upgrades that clearly play. I think that you probably run Sneaking Submission. I think you probably run Dip Immunity. Armor Fortune. We actually have a fair number of upgrades. Is there any big transport we have that we care about? That needs to come out. I don't think so. I think that we're not running special modifications. Nimble process for sure. All right. So let's just kind of count. We have some pretty good stuff here. We're strong at 3 already. We're probably not going to Evanok, I don't think. I mean, that's actually the one transport we get. Well, the buff is on the hero side, right? So I care more about the heroic one. We are going to run Evanok because it hits for 5 in a hero deck if we are able to disclose a hero card. So we have a good enough curve. We should have enough turn 1 plays. In fact, we can probably trim from there. Junior Senator's pretty good. Chandrillin Sponsor is great. You want to have a bunch of neutrals here. I'm going to cut this guy right away. This Asp Labor is not good enough to make the cut for this already. And where are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that actually makes 32 cards. If we just play everything that's plausibly playable, that's a good way to be because we can cut. And I think we're going to splash at least 1 other neutral card here, maybe 2 to do that. So we have a few that we can trim. So what's not strong enough? This guy hits for 0. Hitting for 0, even if it restores 1, is not great. You know, I like the Skyhopper Canyon Runner just because it can be watched. Now the thing about BMO though is I do have Leia, so hold on, let's put that back into consideration because I might be wanting to do that. You know what I don't? Well, we got the kind of things. So this is me building with Leia. The Lost Jedi will definitely play because grit plus experience is good. Okay, I think that the 2/2 ship with hidden is borderline, and I think these regulation bureaucrats are borderline because they hit for 0. I'm actually kind of liking the BMO idea, B2EMO idea, to actually give that guy experience because if you actually buff him up, he's giving Sentinel every phase to something else and maybe is strong. The 3 populist champions definitely play. They're not that close to the cut line. These unruly astromechs, however, I don't think we need both. And I don't think I need this official Sentinel guy when I got the 4-cost other one. So we're going to cut that out for now. And then I don't know that I need all of these upgrades. Nimble Prowess are definitely playing. The problem with Diplomatic Immunity is how high the disclose cost is. Armor Fortune there. So we don't really have an overabundance of blue hero cards here. I think that one's probably on the cut line here because I want to make room for a splash. Okay, so we got great at 5. 6 is solid enough. 6 is actually really strong when you look at the 2 hero cards. We got Rex and Hunter right there. All right, and I want to have some neutrals here, so right now we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is 29 cards that I think are good and playable. All right. What neutrals do we have that we splash? I mean, Warrior of Clan Ordo is kind of a good one to splash, but it doesn't give us anything to reveal, right? So that's the other thing with Disclose. Disclose doesn't work with splashes. We could do a discard card there. That's not the end of the world. We would want a neutral splash card in green or red, or 2 maybe, with Leia. Something that, in the right world we play, but also can be disclosed. We wouldn't really want a heroic card for that purpose, or a villainy card. She can't disclose villainy, and heroic is going to share with a bunch of stuff. So it really ought to be a neutral card. And we don't have to force it either. We're just looking for 1 right now. And we could always just play this other Unruly Astromech, which is a yellow disclosable. I'm going to be unable to demonstrate my idea here. Okay, Naboo Security Force is out because it's there. Now, a 5-4 for 6, maybe. This thing could be played on her flip turn. Talked about Warrior of Ordo. We don't want to be hitting our own base. Accelerate Our Plans maybe should be in there. I didn't go through the neutral events that well, but that's a buff that requires exhausting another friendly unit, kind of compresses your actions. Wrong Wide could be here too. So we found more other playable cards in our set, is what happened. Budget Scheming's kind of a spicy one. I don't think we have the officials for it. That card is good though. I'm running that Sly Spy Swarm deck that's there. Okay, I think that we'll get rid of one of this, because I do kind of want to run Wrong Wide. That's just really disruptive on the flip turn, exhausting 2 resources. You could do like Wrong Wide and Armor of Fortune, at the same time, and make Leia a tank. That's good. I don't think that there's... Well... I think, let me just go back. There was as far as splashing, if I was going to, that card gives you a spy token and +1/+1 for 4. That's not the end of the world. And then there's that big tank thing. I could see, if I wanted to have Leia consistency and just be able to put something in my hand, that can get anything. I mean, I would probably go with one of those, but when I'm looking at this, more than half of my deck, when laid out for curve, is neutral one way or another, right? And you're looking for a neutral blue or a neutral yellow to buff with Leia, or you're looking for a card that's just way out of it, like red. I think I actually have enough neutrals without splashing, and I don't think the impact for a splash is enough, because I don't really want to be to 8. So I think I'm going to wrap it up this way. Let's do... there. So we have the curve, we have a fair amount of good turn 1 and 2 plays. I always overweight these. I'm playing some of the 1s in large part because I feel that I'm going to be buffing them and playing under curve. I would not be playing those under most, and I'm playing more 2s than I normally would too. 3, I mean, the stars of the show will be the Populous Champion, but that's a good place to be to play a bunch of 3/5s. Yeah, honestly, Anakin is not great. It's just he has plot, and we have Wrong Ride, so that's there. We're playing, a 4-cost Sentinel in neutral, and then 2 decent heroic cards, and then Obi, which is a legendary, and then can wield the wild stuff. Alrighty, so this is our baby. I think this is a good deck.
in the end. One thing I should notice is it's on a yellow base. It is the rule in pre-releases and all sealed that you can use any common base from the set, so it didn't matter that we technically didn't open one. I think this is a good deck. I'm going to view myself as the control in most pre-release matches here because I need to get to the bombs. But if I get to the 4, 5, 6 units and I got there by using Leia effectively, I feel pretty good about my chances. I would like to have more removal, but I mean, our pool is our pool, and we really didn't have anything else other than red. So hit me up. Let me know what you think I did wrong, what other deck I should have built. I will be playing this live on pre-release weekend on Sunday in a tournament against very skilled players on my team. So you can see if this works or not. And I really hope that this helped you perform at your pre-releases. If it did, hit me up in the comments. Join us on the late night Discord. We're brewing a bunch of stuff there, and we're looking forward to set 6. We got tournament coverage coming your way, our live streams, a lot of good stuff happening at late night. So please give us a like, subscribe, and comment. And if you watched this far, you are my hero. Loopee signing off.